Welcome to the Ticket Stand, where I give you the review for the biggest movie of the week, and I'll tell you whether it's worth watching, worth buying, worth waiting, worth renting, or straight up worthless. Let's talk about the biggest movie of the week coming out on March 3rd through the 5th of 2023, which is Creed 3, starring Michael B. Jordan, Jonathan Majors, Tessa Thompson, and Wood Harris. And the director is also making his directorial debut, Michael B. Jordan himself. So let's talk about the story and the writing. So the story revolves around Adonis Creed. You know, after he's finally retired from boxing, you know, he's enjoying his life and he's enjoying time with his family. A figure from his past comes back to actually, you know, just basically try and get a shot at boxing. And while Adonis Creed is at first hesitant, he ends up trying to help him because of their time from way back then. And the film actually goes through some very dramatic plot points where it's all about betrayal, where it's all about not knowing who's really a friend and who's really just taking advantage. And it definitely goes through very, very serious turns that I personally thought was good in the story department. As for the writing, everything was solid. I wouldn't say it's special at some points. So sometimes the writing is good, but I wouldn't say it's great or fantastic. It's just, you know, it's good. It's passable. So I'll give it that. As far as the story and writing, my rating for it, I'd probably say it's a 2 out of 2, man. So let's also get into the directing, the technical aspects, and the cinematography. So earlier I was saying that this is Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. And honestly, he really knocked it out of the park. This was a strong debut for directing your own film, as well as starring in it. A lot of people don't really get to do that well as for their first film. And I'd say this is one of the better examples of it. And a lot of the shots in the film are very, very well done. Like, I remember seeing a lot of interviews with Michael B. Jordan when he was talking about directing this film, where he would be saying, hey, you know, a lot of my influences came from a lot of anime, because he's a big anime fan, and I'm also an anime fan too. And I did see some of the influential shots where, like, you would see just punches to the stomach, where like you would see the sweat just straight pop off of somebody's back. You would see some of like dodges and stuff where the shots are just clean and smooth, and I could see those influential shots and the influence that anime that Michael B. Jordan got from it. I could see some of the stuff from Hajime no Ippo, a boxing anime. I could see some of the stuff from Dragon Ball, and even from a story aspect, I could see some of the stuff from Naruto, you know. So it's definitely one of those influences that definitely worked well for this film. It wasn't too much, but it was just enough where you could see the influences, and it works well for a sports film, especially for something like boxing. For the directorial and influential shots and stuff, I just give that the rating of a 2 out of 2. There's definitely some good directing here. And as far as if this is gonna be like the standard that Michael B. Jordan has for directing, I ask for one favor: DC, give this man Static Shock. We gonna need that movie. So let's also get into the characters and the acting as well. So this is a strong cast already. You know, you got Michael B. Jordan, you got Jonathan Majors, you got Tessa Thompson. You got a lot of these high caliber actors, and as the acting goes, it's definitely well acted. I'd say this is top notch, man. And I did like a lot of the characters, especially their plot lines, like Tessa Thompson being a singer who's now a producer due to her problems with her hearing. You know, she is doing like a lot of producing, and she's highlighting, you know, the struggles of having to retire because her hearing isn't as strong anymore. And you do have Michael B. Jordan with his retirement arc, where he's going into that about, hey, you know, I'm done with boxing, you know, I'm already getting there up in age. And then you see his friend come back, and it's like, hey, I want to get back into boxing with my friend, I want to help him out, but at the same time I've already done this. I don't need to go into this again. So I definitely appreciate their arcs. The one that was really strong, in my opinion, was definitely Jonathan Majors. His arc is as the villain of the film, the antagonist, was definitely a strong one. Because there are times where you felt sympathetic for him. There are times where you're like, I just want this dude to catch a break. You know, he deserves it. Especially when you see later on in the film how they led to him being in jail for so many years. I think it's 18 years in the film. And then you see how Michael B. Jordan's character went to where he is now, especially after watching Creed 1 and Creed 2. And then you understand both of their perspectives. You see both where they're coming from, and you root for both of them. And with Jonathan Majors' character, Dame, he is scary too, especially when you see him in the ring. He's way more intimidating than his character was in Ant-Man Quantumania. I know I'm not trying to compare both films, but what I'm saying is with this one, here's one that I related to. Well, I wouldn't say personally related to, but I felt more sympathetic for him, as well as I definitely appreciated how menacing his character was, especially getting into the ring. And overall, I could just say the casting and the acting was well done. I definitely give it its 2 out of 2 points. Now, we only have the genre rating as well as the enjoyment rating. So when it comes to the genre, it's supposed to be a sports and a drama based film. With the drama, I definitely say it's there. It's definitely there with its writing. It definitely has those moments with Adonis Creed and his mother, with the drama and dynamic between the character of Dame, which is Jonathan Major, and Adonis Creed, which is Michael B. Jordan. And also a lot of the conversations that Michael B. Jordan's character has with his wife in the film, Tessa Thompson's character, they're definitely well written, where they're well done. You feel the drama is there, and they took priority on that first, foremost. Now, as far as the sports genre of the film, it doesn't do anything special. Well, sure, there are those shots of, you know, the anime influential shots. There was a fight sequence at the end. I was a little bit confused, but I could see the symbolism and where they were going with it. I just felt like it wasn't done especially, you know. I saw where it was going. I felt like the fighting could have taken more priority rather than the symbolism, because we already seen the symbolism throughout the film. But it's definitely not something I could say I notch it down for. But with the sports genre, since it doesn't do very much anything new within the genre, I can't really say I give it its full points. So honestly, even though its genre for the drama aspects are good, the sports it wasn't there. So I'd have to give it like a 1 out of 2, or maybe a 0.5 out of 2. I don't know, just in my opinion, I felt like it could have been done better, just it wasn't. So all that's left is the overall enjoyment of the film. And honestly, I did enjoy the film. It got some good pacing. It's got really good shots. The acting as well. I'm gonna just say this: we're at the point where we're getting too many more than 2 hour long films, and it's enjoying to finally just see another film that just an hour and something minutes. You know, it doesn't have to be an extremely cinematic long film to just get its point across. It's nice for home releases, but for theaters, right here is where it's at. You know, this is where we got to keep it, just an hour and something minutes. We don't need 3 hour, 2 hour long films, because a lot of us got stuff to do, and time constraints, it's definitely done well. It knows how long it needs to stay, and it does it well. As far as other aspects of the film I didn't get to talk about, the soundtrack is really good. I'm definitely getting the soundtrack. The soundtrack was produced by Dreamfield, which is J. Cole's record label, and it definitely has some good music. It definitely had good moments in the film. And I could just say I enjoyed this film overall. There really isn't much to go into that isn't left. So honestly, with my rating of that, I'd give it a 2 points, 2 points out of 2. Oh, side note, even though this doesn't have any more influence in the film, I just gotta give a shout out to the fact that Canelo, one of my favorite boxers, is in this film. So yeah, I guess that's all that's left to talk about. So yeah, overall, the whole rating, I'd probably say I'd give it an 8 or an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. It's definitely a good film. I'd definitely say it's one of the stronger films from the whole Rocky franchise. And the Rocky franchise, we're, I believe, at 9 films. Man, that's a lot of films. But to say it's still one of the strongest ones, I feel like is an accomplishment, especially at this point, because the Rocky franchise itself is legendary. I mean, you got Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, Rocky Balboa, you got Creed 1, Creed 2, and now you got Creed 3, man. You got like a lot of great films, and for this one to be like in the higher caliber films is definitely an accomplishment, especially since a lot of franchise films, they start to degrade by the more films that come out. This one is just elevating more and more as they come out, and that's something a film franchise should do. So I definitely got to give it its props. In my opinion, definitely go watch this in the theaters. This is definitely one of those films that you got to watch, especially if you're a big fan of boxing films and even just the Rocky franchise in general. So I definitely appreciate that. So I gotta say, thanks for all who's watching the film reviews. Thanks for the people who are subscribing to my channel. I definitely appreciate it. So if you want, just leave any comments, whether what you thought about the film. Let me know if you felt the same way, if you felt differently. Let me know about any critiques that you have on my videos, because I want to improve and I want to hear some feedback. It's definitely important for me. So yeah, man, thanks for watching. And this is Ace, and I want to thank you for coming to the ticket stand.